associated with Findy?
Yeah, so I'm currently working for Findy as a CFO, also the global head expansion. So I have two hats. One is kind of finance guy, but we finished Series C funding last year. And now our company is, for middle to long-term strategy, we want to expand outside of Japan. And that's why I'm taking a head. And I was previously working for Indeed, and I was in the US. I was really familiar with the HR technology space. Also, I did work for more kind of tech companies in M&A, and that's why in the context I joined Findy. So Findy is we are building a platform for software engineers.
Okay.
Yeah, why is it for HR? So we are the analyzing engineers open source GitHub repositories, and then scoring engineering skill by programming language. Based on the score, we do the matching between engineers and companies.
What skill set does Findy evaluate?
So we are kind of seeing the contribution levels. From public repositories, how many stars you get, how much you influence into any other coding, and vice versa. Then how much you can influence to the coding. Then those are data. We are kind of scoring your programming language skills.
Who enters the data on the platform?
So we are just taking your data from API. So once you are posting some coding on GitHub, so you have already your own project. We are just taking your account, they're taking your data. They're automatically scoring it.
What is your connection to open source?
Now just taking the data from open GitHub only.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is your platform built on open source or proprietary software?
Our product itself is not open source. Yeah.
Could you have managed without GitHub?
So still we are asking the candidates to put their own information. If you have the GitHub account, you can show scores. Otherwise, score doesn't show up. But still, you can put your experience information. So our platform can show your overview of the experiences and with scores. So if you can show scores, much for the HR recruiter can easily understand. Okay, you have a good scores. Most of the cases, HR people doesn't know. If they see the very detail of your engineer's resume, they don't know what is wrong or not. That's why score is very standard. Yeah. Right? It's easier for the non-engineers to understand your scoring is good or bad.
What algorithms are used to score someone?
Our founder started this product 5 or 6, maybe 7 years ago. Yeah, two founders, CEO and CTO, they analyze maybe 50 to 60K GitHub accounts by hand. They checked all of the GitHub data. Okay, this GitHub is good or bad, and related to resume. Then they create the algorithm. So which kind of GitHub account has a good experience, a good salary. Then based on that, they create the very simple scoring from GitHub. Then once they release it, so many engineers give the feedback, right? Hey, it is a good or bad. Then also that they ask them to put the real information, real the experience, resume. Then they are updating the algorithm. So now in Japan, we 120K engineers registered in Japan. Now we can see their GitHub account, their resume, their current salary. So now we are getting more accurate data. They will still keep updating the algorithm. That's why in Japan, the GitHub scores correlate with the Japanese salary range. So once the engineers come to the Findy, they can see scores with associated salary range. Then they are posting on Twitter or X.
Being set according to Japanese engineers, how do you manage this for Indian customers?
So actually, our product is already ready in English. Now, the 30K Indian engineers registered last year. Yeah, then we can show that there's a score. Score is a very standard everywhere, right? Because everyone is using GitHub in the world. But still we can show just a correlation with the Japanese salary range. We want to try India, but India has so many cities, so huge. Depending on the company size, foreign capital or not, cities. Salaries varies, That's why we think it's a little bit tough to do here in India. We can just scores, but instead we can put grade. So okay, your score is grade S, grade A, grade B, something like that. As you know, for example, LinkedIn, Naukri, so many kind of job boards and players there. So some people are asking, what is it to differentiate? But we think it's we just try to gather the open source, engineers specific. Even though those core isn't kind of limited, but thinking about the users of the open source engineer in the world, I think this person is not small. That's why we would say, hey, you can come to the Findy, you can meet a good open source coder for your project. It's kind of global platform we want to create it. So what we see is when we distributed our service last week, we saw so many Indian people came to our platform to register. Amazingly, their score was also good. So now I can say India, so many engineers, also quality is good. But still, there are so many Indian people are struggling to get a jobs because so many people. Then now HR people say it's really difficult to see which engineer have a good skills, even in India, right? So that's why maybe we can say our platform kind of limited for selective platform. So both open source engineers, highly skilled engineers, and the companies can meet efficiently.
How vital is open source for your business?
Yeah, now because we are scoring from open source public repositories. That's why that open source is very important. Then open source is people can easily reach out to the code and then can easily get a network. Then today I was joining the first session that they do. Then he said open source market is growing, right? So we are still as we are taking the data from open source GitHub data. So this community is very, very important.
How do events like Open Source India benefit you?
Today I would like to meet more people who has a strong network of the GitHub open source community. Then I just this year I came to India just 4 times. Before that I have never been to here. So I'm still learning the Indian market. That's why this one of the purpose of here is to meet people, then try to understand more Indian market. That's why when I found this event, this event is really interesting. So we should exhibit. Then I reach out to.
What is your revenue generation strategy?
Over 7 years, we are doing business in Japan. We are getting good traction. But the middle to long term, strategy. In Japan, obviously, we have a shortage of the people. So as long as we are focusing on Japanese market, middle to long term, it's a little bit difficult to grow. That is why we have to go outside of Japan. Then India, there's so many good engineers, so many IT tech companies. I feel India has a huge potential for finding. That's the context. So I started to come to India so many times this time. Now, personally, I will relocate to Bangalore this December. That's why our strategy is to try our product market fit in India. Then once we verified our PMF here, we try to sell our product to the global. So meaning from India to global. This is what we want to do.
Why choose India? Why not the US?
Because in the US, actually super competitive. So we have 2 types of product. Not only HL, we also have a tool to measure engineers' productivity from GitHub Enterprise, Jira, GitLab. It's more like we are analyzing the private repositories project. But it's kind of Git analytics or the engineers' productivity assessment tool. The US is the number 1. Of course, HL Tech is also US is number 1. So if we try to go to the US market, we need so many budget, marketing costs, hiring, everything is expensive. Still, we are seriously, we are very immature, very early startups for the US. That's why if we go to the US today, maybe it's a little bit difficult to beat. And then I think that's why while I come to India is because we gonna get more kind of Indian people's power. Maybe Japanese companies can work together with India, then go to the global. Yeah, that's my kind of hypothesis. Now, because Indian people are in the world everywhere, even the US. Actually, I was living in the US, in San Francisco, Silicon Valley, Texas. There's so many Indian founders there. So meaning India has so many good network in the world. So I want to say to Japanese people, hey, you guys can come to India to get a good connection here, then to work together with Indian people. Now you can challenge the global.
Would you like to add something?
Just, as I said, I try to kind of connect more people. And then we are still looking for the test clients. So for both products, for one, the HR is not just try to let the company to try our Findy Global to find engineers, highly skilled engineers. Then also the free trial of the Findy Team Plus. So just try Findy Team Plus to measure and your team productivity. Then we are getting more client insights, voice, then to help us to develop our global product. That's the context. So I want to meet more people, engineers, tech leaders here to know more like a community network. Yeah.